Many of you look at financial prosperity like it is something outside of you, even very far away from you. It seems elusive, like something you want but can't get. Every time you think you get a little closer, it feels like you somehow end up pushing it further away. Some of you are wondering if financial well-being will ever be yours. You really, really want it, but you feel like you really, really don't have it. Maybe can't ever have it. First, we want you to change how you are conceiving of this financial abundance. We want you to think of yourselves as a river that many streams and springs are flowing into, blending into a larger and larger river. When we see the flow, the fast-moving pace of that river, we forget that it is really the culmination of many streams, many springs, many sources of water coming together. We tell you this because we want you to understand that you have streams of non-physical energy flowing to you and through you. Imagine these streams of energy, of consciousness, flowing from source, from non-physical, in through your head and then down your body, cascading like a gentle waterfall as they continue to flow out your hands, your feet, through your body and back out into the broader universe. You can imagine them as streams of water or light, flowing energy. Now imagine that one of these streams flowing to you from non-physical is financial abundance and well-being. It is a gentle, loving stream that is flowing to you and through you. The financial abundance that you want in your lives is not some outside entity you need to be worthy of achieving. It is a stream of energy, of consciousness that is flowing to you and through you from non-physical, from your divine non-physical self. When your thoughts and beliefs allow you to connect with this flow, to become a match to the frequency of this stream, then law of attraction matches you up with this abundance in the physical universe in many, many ways. But the stream you need to match is your own stream, what is already flowing through you. We want you to say and feel, prosperity is flowing to me. Prosperity is flowing through me. Once you can say it and really feel it, really truly feel it, you will realize that you are the creator, the allower of prosperity in your life. No one else can prevent it or keep it from you. It comes from you, only you. This process is about becoming a match to what is already there in you, in your very own stream of prosperity. The frequency of abundance is there, flowing through you every day. It is simply about allowing it and tuning your own thoughts and belief patterns so that you match it. Imagine when you first came forth from non-physical as infants. Think about the trust that required from you. Were you trusting the stream of your parents, many of whom had already learned to disallow their own well-being? No, you were trusting your own inner stream to bring you what you needed. Some of your biological parents were so disallowing that law of attraction matched you up with other adults who could provide for you. And some of you tell the story still, my own parents could not provide for me. And we say, your stream was so strong that you attracted people into your life who could better care for you. Your parents did not abandon you. You were just not a match to what they were offering. They might have been the physical path you took into this environment, but then your stream of well-being created something better. You were born with this stream, but even more than that, this stream is a part of who you are from non-physical. It does not matter what you have had in the past, whether you are experiencing shortage or abundance. It is what you are allowing now, and what you will let yourself allow into your life in the future. Many of you tell long, deeply entrenched stories of financial shortage in your lives. You have lots of momentum going with those stories. They are like yes, but stories. Yes, this is what I have lived for decades, but this isn't what I want. And we don't even need to ask how that is working for you because we know it isn't. You aren't getting closer to what you want. So what are your abundance stories? You all have them. If you have made it to your physical bodies, to your current physical age, then you have managed to find an abundance of physical nourishment and drink in your lives to get you here. We're not saying it was always readily available for all of you, but you made it through to this point. You should be proud of yourselves for that. You allowed enough well-being that you are here today listening to us. Some of you have an abundance of things at home or clothes in your closet. Some of you might say too much stuff at home. That's abundance. Most of you have found ways to get some type of education. Many of you have people in your lives that you are glad to have there, relationships you enjoy or find rewarding, present or past. It's just this little money issue that has so many of you wound so tight. And here's the thing. If you are wound tight around something, then you aren't allowing the flow. You are constricting the flow. You need to find a way to relax and be with it. Remember, this flow is coming through you. This is not about an outside stream you have to trudge around and find and become a match to. This is about a stream of well-being, of prosperity that is literally flowing to you and through you. So, how do you allow more of the stream? Stop telling any old stories about money in your life that don't serve you. And for many of you, that means you need to find new stories because you have been telling the same ones for so long. Start giving the pause and stop buttons on the remote control to your thoughts a big workout. Every time, and we mean every single time, you start telling a story of shortage, hit the button. Pause it, stop it, and then insert a new story to play. Oh, wait, I don't want to keep telling that story. And then either take your attention to an entirely new subject or find a different, better, and better feeling story to tell. Just ask yourself, is this story serving me? Is it allowing the flow of my stream of prosperity, or is it constricting it, pinching it off? If the story feels good, and we don't mean the attention you get to your story from someone listening, but how you feel inside when you tell that story. Does it feel like it represents more of what you want? Have you ever set out on a road trip with someone who started telling you story after story of mechanical problems with his or her vehicle, of things that went wrong on previous road trips, of time spent waiting for mechanics to fix a vehicle or waiting for tow trucks, and warning you about things that could go wrong? And didn't you just want to tell that person to be quiet? Couldn't you just feel that this was not a good way to start a long road trip when you were so dependent on your wonderful vehicle to carry you safely and easily there? You weren't expecting any of those things to go wrong, but now this person's attention to problems has you wondering if you should have checked your tires, and when did you get the oil changed last, and there was this odd sound last week and you weren't sure if it was coming from your car or the vehicle next to you. And now your expectation of well-being is drifting over more to your companion's frequency, and pretty soon, well, you know what is likely to happen soon. You can feel that about a car, but you don't catch yourself with your stories about money and financial well-being. How many of you tell a story about your childhood that focuses on a lack of financial well-being? How many of you tell stories about times you were wronged financially? How many of you have complaints about your financial institutions? We know you pay attention almost every day to whether you have enough money to buy something you want. But we want you to tell the stories about when you could get what you want. We want you to feel the times of plenty, or at least enough. We want you to find a new language of money. Eliminate words and phrases like shortage, lack, negative balance, in the red, not enough, can't. Make a list of 10 times you could and did, and then gradually expand that list. If you got the education you needed, stop complaining about your student loan debt. If you want to get a great education but don't know how to pay for it, then decide that the resources of the universe are available to help you figure it out. Just ask for help and then listen for inspiration. Sometimes inspiration can come from sources that seem very unlikely to you. But be open. See where the universe guides you. If you want a job and don't have one, maybe haven't for a long time, take a job just so you can feel that you are working, that you have money coming in. You don't need to wait for the perfect job. There can be many paths to that perfect job, and although you don't like to hear this, sometimes that not-so-perfect job will open doors to a much, much better one. If you want to travel and don't have the money, you can still plan the trip. Just don't attach dates to it. Don't think dates. But you can plan how you will get there, what you will do, where you will stay, where you will eat. You can have the fun of planning the trip without the taking of it yet. Many of you have more fun in the idea of a trip than you actually enjoy on the trip. When the trip is still in your mind, you don't have to wait in long lines to go through airport security, or have your personal space on the airplane cramped, or wait expectantly for a suitcase you hope will arrive. You don't have to have money in your bank account to have fun planning. But think of it as, I am going to plan a trip too. Plan it for the fun of planning it. So, write down 10 times you experienced abundance or financial well-being. Do you remember a time when you were very young that someone gave you some money or something you had asked for? Do you remember how that felt? Write it down. Do you remember the first time you earned money? Most of you have had this experience, although not all. Do you remember the first time you were paid, how good that felt? Do you remember the first time you bought something you really wanted? The first time someone gave you something you really wanted? Has there been a time or times in your life when you felt like the money flowed? You didn't need to worry about enough? If so, write that down. Do you remember being so young that you weren't conscious of money? You just expected that somehow you would get what you needed, even if it was a parent figuring it out? You just weren't aware of money yet, or of the possibility of your needs not being met. You all have one of those times, even if it was when you were an infant. You were hungry and you cried because you had an expectation you would be fed. You expected your needs to be met. Many of you think you are born dependent, and yes, while you are physically dependent on others at your birth, you are not helpless. You come forth with a stream to help attract to you what you need and want. That stream of abundance is calling to you what you need now. Except since then, you have had decades to develop your own thoughts and beliefs about prosperity. Many of you have learned how to pinch it off, how to clog the flow. Think about the electricity flowing into the light switch in a room. The flow to the light source in the room goes through this switch. It may have an on-off switch, it may have a dimmer switch. With the dimmer switch, when you darken the room, you are resisting more electricity. When you allow greater light into the room, it is because you are allowing greater energy to reach the light source. The dimmer is not accessing two types of energy, a dark energy and a light energy. There is only one kind of electricity present. You allow greater energy flow to make the room brighter, or you resist that greater flow to make the room darker. This is how your stream of abundance energy works. You have a strong stream of prosperity energy flowing to you. But many of you have gotten used to using the dimmer switch, allowing a certain amount through sometimes, resisting that allowing at other times. Your thoughts, your belief patterns, what you give your attention to, This is what determines how your dimmer switch is working. If you are spending a lot of time in your life focused on a lack of abundance, for instance, giving your attention to bills, shortage, your too small paycheck, what you can't do because it costs too much, then you are dimming the flow of prosperity into your life. If you are spending a lot of time in your life focused on the flow of abundance, on doing what brings you pleasure and fulfillment, then your energy stream is likely fast-moving and allowing that abundance, that light. In many cases, how you feel about other things in your life will likely be reflected in how you feel about your prosperity. Ask yourself how you feel about your own prosperity. What words would you select to describe the feeling? Find feeling words. Don't look for words that feel good and describe how you want to feel. Look for words that describe how you actually feel. Then ask yourself, what else in my life am I feeling that way about right now? Chances are there are other things going on in your life, or there have been recently, where you feel the same way. If you have been struggling with abundance issues for a while, then ask yourself if there are other issues where you've been struggling too. You also need to consider, have I been less than happy, joyful, and fulfilled in my life for a while? If that is true, then that has had an influence on your vibration of abundance as well. If you have not been feeling great for a while, then you may have gotten used to accepting a lack of prosperity. This can be reversed, so not to worry. But we want you to see the connection between your feelings and abundance, between your feelings and what you are allowing or resisting in your life. Many of you got used to not feeling good about something in your life. And as you tolerated negative emotion for a long time, you also learned to tolerate other negative conditions. If you didn't correct one negative condition, then eventually you develop multiple negative conditions on this same frequency. So, start being picky about how you feel and refuse to settle for thought and conditions that don't feel good. Stop beating up on yourself for negative conditions that do exist, and don't blame someone else either. Just work to find reasons to feel good in your life, to feel hopeful, optimistic. Find reasons to feel better first, then find reasons to eventually feel good. The better you feel, and the more you start telling better stories about abundance in your life, the faster your financial condition will improve. Find reasons to feel good and be happy in your life. You can't wait until the money comes in. You need to feel good to allow the money to come in. You tell us, I'll feel better once the money comes. And we are telling you, you need to feel better to allow the money. Tell yourself every day your new stories of prosperity. Remind yourself of what it feels like to be prosperous in your life. Expect to get there. Create the feelings of prosperity in your life now. Don't wait for the money to come in. You need to do this first. What does prosperity mean to you? What does it feel like? For many people, it feels like ease, abundance flowing, having more choices, confidence, security, the ability to dream, being able to make plans for the future, being able to share, be generous, give gifts, help others, feeling good about oneself and the direction one is moving in. What are the feelings that fit for you? Find ways to start having those feelings in your life now. Remember that dimmer switch. What feelings will help you turn that switch up to allow greater flow, greater light, more money flowing in and through your life? Find ways to start creating them now. Maybe you can't donate $1,000 today, but you can donate 1 or 5. Maybe you can't take your kids on the expensive vacation they want, but you can afford to take them somewhere fun for the day, someplace that creates some wonderful new memories and new stories. Maybe you don't have your ideal job, but you can find things to appreciate about the job you do have. Or maybe you can't find a full-time job, so you take a part-time job to begin to bring some more dollars in. Your thoughts can create the feelings. But then, as you feel inspired, take action to create life events that match these new feelings. You will feel the energy shifting. You will realize you are on your way to greater abundance. The journey to the abundance you seek is a feeling journey. Feel better a step at a time to start that journey. Other things in your life that feel the same way, start those journeys the same way, a step at a time. Remember, this stream is already moving through you. You just need to acknowledge the flow and not constrict the energy. Don't dim your stream of prosperity, but allow more and more. Let the light, the good feelings, the money, shine brightly and flow radiantly. Prosperity is flowing to you, through you. The light stream from abundance that comes from Source radiates from you. The universe will match you up with all you are allowing. You are abundance already. You have abundance already. Prosperity is flowing, and now you are letting it in.